Go.
Hi, I'm Gary Klaus with Genesis Rescue Systems. Welcome to Live Cut 5, the 5th video in a series of extrication trainings designed to make you better with your extrication tools. This is going to be part 1, and it's all focused on rams. So one of the big controversies in the rescue world is, do you need a ram or do you not need a ram? And that's really kind of a difficult thing. If your budget only allows you to have, say, a combination tool and maybe not a ram, if that's what you have, that's what you have. This is my personal opinion. It's always better to have a ram and not need it than to really need a ram and not have one. The downside of that is rams cost money, and a lot of departments don't have the extra funding to do that. If you have the funding, I highly suggest having a ram because it gives you all that additional space-making capabilities, and let's face it, that's what we're here for. So when you talk about rams themselves, a couple things that you want to keep in mind when you're buying a ram. Number one, how big does your spreader go? Because if you have a 32-inch spreader, you know that you want to match your ram capabilities to more than that. If your spreader or your combination tool is just very small to start with, don't get a ram that's too big in its closed position that it won't do you any good whatsoever. So today we have behind me an hourglassed vehicle, right? You're probably not going to see this very often, but this is designed to show you how you can use the strong points of the vehicle to your advantage to make space in critical situations. Everything we do in the rescue world is predicated on two things. One, the patient's position and their condition. If you need to get them out of the car as fast as possible, that's exactly what you're going to do. For today, this is not a speed evolution. We're going to take our time and walk through the steps. We'll have a bunch of different camera angles for you. And keep in mind, this is live, so if things, jack up, things jack up. Don't know what to tell you. So with me today is Mike Philibin. Mike Philibin is an Athens, Ohio firefighter. He's been on the job for 9 years. He is also a sales rep for Howell Rescue Systems in Ohio. And also with me is Kat Van Scoy. You probably remember Kat from last time's video, and that was all about combination tools, where Kat was literally scared to death. She said like nothing. So today we're going to try a little bit better. She's still scared to death, but we're going to walk it through real nice and slow. These videos are designed to give basic to advanced extrication knowledge to anyone in the fire service. We'll walk through things very, very slowly so everybody gets what we're doing. Keep in mind, if you're watching on Facebook Live right now, you can type in questions to info@Genesis or right through the Facebook comments. You can put that on there. Kyle's running our board. He's going to put your questions up there, so hopefully I can get to them. If you have any suggestions for us to do future live cuts or training type of videos, by all means send those into info@genesisrescue.com. Suggestions for what you may want to see, even scenarios that you've had problems with in the past. We're going to see if we can replicate it. So if you take a look at the vehicle, you can see that it's really, really hourglassed in. If you want to see how we did that, go to YouTube and type in Genesis Crash System, and you'll see a new product that we have that basically can replicate scenes like this for your training facility or for your fire academies, even individual fire departments, but they're a little on the costly side. Okay, so if you have a combination tool, right, one of the things that you can get is a mechanical ram, and it's going to add between 15 and 17 inches of spread to your combination tool. Mike, would you be so kind just to turn that on for me? Good. So if you have a combination tool, it may give your department the advantage of having an additional piece that can be used as a ram without the additional cost of an entire ram. There are pluses and minuses to everything we do in the fire service. The plus of this is it gives you between 15 and 17 inches, depending on the combination tool that you put it on, of additional lift and push capability. The disadvantage is once you put this combination tool in as a mechanical ram, it's going to stay as a mechanical ram. So there's always trade-offs in what we do in the fire service. All right, I'm going to have Mike close that up. Terrific. We'll just get that right out of there. I'm going to try not to make this too slow so I don't lose anybody in the audience today. So when you pair your ram with your tools, you want to check the closed length and the open length of your equipment. If you're going to get a ram accessory kit, you want to make sure that it's going to complement exactly what you have. Mike, I'm going to have you move over to that side. This is a 31-inch ram. It will extend to 31 inches. You also have a multiple different varieties of tips that you can put on and off of here. When you're using a ram, if you have a ram accessory kit, if for whatever reason you have to replace this to put an extension on there, can I have the 5-inch extension? You never want to hand the guy with the ram just the extension itself, because then whoever's working this ram is going to have to take a head off, he's going to have to screw the extension on, and then screw the head back onto the extension. So if you ask for a ram extension, whoever hands it to you should already have the head attached. Doesn't matter which head you put on here, but that way it's one motion to screw off, one motion to screw back on, and now we've extended the length of our ram by 10 inches. So these are things you want to keep in mind. A lot of times at a fire scene, people will wait and they will hesitate to do something for fear that it may be wrong. If you're at an extrication scene that requires ram work, make sure all the pieces and parts that you need are there at the scene. The worst that could happen is if I put this head on and I don't use the extension, when the accident's taken care of and the patient's out and on their way to a trauma center or whatever we need to take them, I have to put this away. Better to save time putting all your components together in the interest of the patient than to wait and waste time. So if you're there at a scene, if you're not actively involved with the extrication tools themselves, don't be afraid to take steps like this. Again, keep in mind, this is not the only way to do things. This is not one way to do things. These are just pointers that you want to keep in mind when you're at the extrication scene, because all of these seconds turn into minutes, and it's never our time that we're wasting, it's their time. And we want to make sure we're doing what's right for the patient all the way around. So we're going to talk about some of the equipment that we have. I'll give you that. Rick, you want to follow me over here? So at an extrication scene, we're going to be working with a couple of different rams today. We're going to be working with one of our 28-volt rams and also one of our new 18-volt rams. You want to make sure that you have a Sawzall with fresh blades. Always keep that pack of blades in your pocket. I'm a big fan of the Diablo or of the Torch. 9-inch blades, 10 TPI. Again, that's my weapon of choice. You guys are going to experiment with whatever you want. But you want to make sure you have all these tools at the scene itself and ready to function. In addition, you want to make sure that you have your standard cutter and spreader. Keep in mind when you're doing this, your cutter should always be in the wide open and ready to cut position, which is way back from the live cut that we did, and the spreader should always be in the completely closed position. You can get extremely fatigued if you're holding onto a tool, and it doesn't matter whose tool you have. So as long as I have this tool in the ready to work position, I can stand just like this. It's wide open, it's ready to go, I'm not wasting any time. If I stand with my blades partially closed and they call for the cutter to come in, now I have to take that second or 2 or 5 or 10 or whatever it may be to open that cutter up. If I'm standing in this position, you can stay fresh all day long, and if the cutter is called for, all I have to do is literally pick it up, hit the button, and I'm ready to function. So, I'm gonna have you get these out of the way if you'd be so kind, Mike or Kat, if you guys take those. Terrific. RJ, I'm gonna have you come in here a little bit and just kind of take me a scan of what's going on. So, if you look inside here, we have about 18 inches. Oh, where side am I at? Yep, sorry, wrong way. That's not gonna work anyway. It's 18 inches from here to there. I should have been on the other side, apologize. So we have about 18 inches of space. So if the smallest ram that you have is 22 inches closed length, that's not going to fit in here, okay? The smallest ram you have is your spreader. Sometimes it's best to start with your spreader, create the space needed, make sure the ram is here and ready to go, and on and set, and then if we need to, we can take the spreader out of the way, put our ram into place, and continue to push. So when you look at a scene like this, depending on how long you've been in the fire service, there's a lot of people that will say, well, the first thing I would do is I would just cut the roof right off of this car and then I have all that access to the patient. And that may be a non-incorrect statement. Let me explain that. If I cut the roof off first, because my car that's like this is now hourglassed in, okay? This has a memory. Steel has a memory in it, and it has energy inside. So if I cut the roof off, if I put any type of tool in the center here, and spread it out, the second I let that tool back, that's going to come back in. Okay? We want to make sure that we're making permanent space, or as much permanent space as humanly possible, for this patient to get popped out of the car. Plus, this gives us a better option to get the doors off if at all possible. If your first move is to take the roof off, make sure that you pop the doors first. On a 4-door vehicle, you just have to pop the back doors. We can do the 2-door rip and blitz, or however you want to call it, to take both doors off after that. But I need the strength of the roof line to pop that back door off of that nadir pin and bring it down. Do I need it? All right, that's probably a misnomer. It's to my advantage and to their advantage to have that strength. Then I can cut the roof off and gain access because I can take the doors off without doing anything else. But for today, we're going to show you how using a ram can displace this vehicle a lot further in a permanent fashion than anything. Okay, so as with anything, we've gotten off the rig, the tools are coming over to the scene. You should have that little riding assignment tag in your apparatus that says, at a scene, this seat, not person, this seat is responsible for these 2 or 3 operations. So you want to make sure all the equipment is here as you need it. Hopefully you guys put the tools away last time, clean, shiny, batteries charged, ready to go. Your officer is going to do that 360 around the scene. He's going to call for any additional resources as needed. Helicopter, transport, heavy rescue, whatever it may be. Okay? Once we've completed that, someone will take patient care. For today, we're not going to worry about patient care because we're using the car basically to demonstrate exactly what we're doing. We also want to make sure, because this is a fresh accident, that we take care of the hood. We want to get to that battery, disconnect the battery as fast as possible. So we're going to go ahead and all gear it up, and we're going to do that right now. All right, IG, you want to come up to the front? There you go. So, there you go. Come on up, Mike. So when we talk about hoods, come over this way a little bit more, RJ. If you're using your tools to open a hood, you want to look at the front of the car, and you're going to divide this hood into 5 pieces. 1, 3, 5. And where the headlights come down, you're going to make that 2 and 4. Dependent on the manufacturer, cars are latched at the number 3 position by themselves, or at the 2 and the 4 position, or at the 1 and the 5 position, dependent on the manufacturer. So if you're going to use your spreader, as you section this roof out, put your spreader between the 2 and the 3, or the 3 and the 4. The second that hood starts to open, you'll see one point stay down. If I lift right here and this stays attached, but everything else opens, I know I'm latched at 1 and 5. If I spread right here and everything here wings open, I know I'm latched at number 3. Okay? And you're going to find that on every car out there. So let's take a real quick look. Come on down here, RJ. Come with me. So on about 50% of the cars out there, if you can pop some of this plastic out of the way, you may be able to see that cable right there. That's your hood latch cable. Okay? You can take a Halligan bar, or you can take a hood release tool if it's on this vehicle, and potentially give that a little pop. You want to put the fork on there, turn it gently clockwise. Mike, would you be so kind? Now, we've already released this. While you're here, take a look at where your latch is. Everybody immediately stands up, and then they put their hands back underneath there and they fumble around. But while you're here, see where that latch release is, put your hand on it, and then you can just come up at the same time. Okay, so this is my opinion. If you're going to take the hood off a car, cut the hood off. Get it completely out of the way. If we're only working on one side, let's say we just have a driver, then I may decide just to take that side off, spin the hood out of the way, but it opens up my entire cavity so I can see what's here. All right, Kat, you want to be so kind? So let's cut the strut first, down low. There you go. Excellent. Then go ahead and cut the back latch. All the way through. There you go. There you go that way. Go that way. Good. Got this, Mike? Come this way. Bring it out of there. There you go. Go. Off your hip, let the car take the weight. Excellent. Go to the other side, do the same thing. All the way in. There you go. Good. Yep. So here's my battery. I'm going to have Mike cut my battery cables. Now sometimes these can be a little bit difficult. Okay, sometimes they're a little bit snug. This one, if you feel it, has 2 cables on it. You may have to take a Halligan bar, push the air box out of the way just a little bit. You may actually, depending on the impact, use your spreaders on some of the strong point to make a little bit of space. Would you be so kind? You got 2 of them there. Cool. Always make sure that you cut a chunk out of there. Now I know that there's controversy in the fire service and there are guys out there saying, don't cut the cable, you don't need to. Instead, and that's fine. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But for safety's sake, for all of your rescuers, it is always better to do that. I want to make sure that I'm giving ourselves the best chance of success. Remember, there's drain down times with airbags. They can last for up to 30 minutes. I don't know how long this car has been sitting, so the faster I can get to that, if it's possible, and it's not always going to be possible, the better chance I have of those airbags draining down for the safety of the rescuers themselves and also for the rest of the occupants. Okay, so we've taken care of that. We've killed the battery. Now we're going to come and look inside. I'm going to have you shoot right over there, RJ. Come down to me. So, dependent on the car, you may have to get your spreader in from the side, you may have to get your ram in from the side, you may have to come in from the back end. Everybody's spreader is going to have some weight to it. So depending on the size of the spreader that you have, one of the tricks that you can do, and for today we're going to come in from the back side, is you can take your New York hook. Okay, I'm going to have you grab the spreader and take it right to the back, and you can slide it through the car. Now, if your rescuer has to get on the back of the vehicle, instead of trying to take that spreader and hold onto it way in front of them, they can slide it right in. You're going to have 2 rescuers holding it or just the vehicle itself holding it. Go ahead and slide it right in there, Kat. Now, if you have 2 rescuers that are doing this, I'm going to have you just kind of move everything forward with us. So you jump on the back if you need to. So Mike and I are going to basically pick this up. RJ, if you want to just take a shot, we can lift this spreader up and she can slide forward and we can help her get it into position. Go ahead and jump up on the back. The tool has the weight of the spreader on it. Now we can move this all the way forward to wherever we need to. Now she may have to get on the very back of the trunk. I know you're hating to do that, but get on up there. Kat loves this, just so you know, she's scared to death. She's like, I'm gonna fall. You're fine, get on up there. Come on.
Come on, Dad.
Get on up there. I hope you guys know I'm going to get killed later for doing that. Chief Trustee and Chief Gallagher, you can yell at me if she's scampering all over vehicles from now on. RJ, come on down. Go ahead, Kat, turn it on. There you go. Good to go. Wait a minute. Hold on. Bring it in so we can slide this spreader in if we need to. Where are we? Hold on, I can't see it. There we go. So RJ, if you come straight down, Phil, let me have that camera, would you please? Super. Okay, so let's take a look. Right now we have about 18 inches of space. This is a 32-inch spreader. So as your rescuers are there, we may have to reach in and give her a hand and say, Kat, go ahead and start to open. And stop. We may have to adjust her over a little bit. We're going to move you that way. We can do that with our tool also. We can adjust up or down. Okay? One of the other things that you may be able to do is get the headrests out of the way. That's going to get you a lot more space to work with. Again, keep in mind, patient condition and position dictate. So if we say, Kat, go ahead and lift up a little bit, we may be able to come in with the spreader, or she can put her hand underneath the spreader and we can manipulate. All right, Kat, so let's go ahead and, we're going to get you, hold on a second. There you go. So give me a little bit of a spread, Kat. And stop. So if you guys take a look, we're going to start to make a little bit of a distance. Go ahead. So take a look. What'd you just see? What's on here? Plastic. If you guys go back and watch some of our videos previously, you remember that we talked about getting as much plastic out of the way as possible. This happens in the real world because we get in a hurry and we forget to take those extra little steps. You can also see that our seat belts are still in place. Those are the type of things that in the real world, in a real world situation where time is of the essence, these things happen. So you want to take an extra second or two and make sure that you got all that stuff out of your way if at all possible. Kat, I'm going to have you close that up. Okay, just go ahead and close her all the way up. And then slide her straight back, and Mike and I are going to help you. There you go. Take her right out of there. So did we make a little bit of space? Yeah, we made some, but we didn't make a whole lot. Did we gain enough to get a ram in there? Now we're going to find out. Okay, you stay right where you're at, Kat. Phil, I'm going to hand you this back. So, come on down, RJ. We're going to leave the plastic in place purposefully, but I'm going to have Mike cut the seatbelt on his side, if you'd be so kind. And let's see where we're at. We'll slice this one too. So a lot of times just taking that out of there will allow the plastic to get popped out. If it doesn't, don't be afraid to take your Sawzall and just skim cut this. Get the plastic wrap out of your way so you can do a better job of getting the steel of your ram to bite onto the steel of your car. Stay right there. Here you go, Mike. Wrap her in, give me a little skim cut. So, oh, sorry, Phil, I need that camera. My apologies. So if you take a look at that, one quick skim cut across the side, and now we've got plenty of steel exposed. Actually, I'm going to have Mike come and do the same thing on this side. And we're going to take a look at it with the camera from over there.
Ready, Gary?
Yep. Couple of seconds, now we've got decent steel that we can work with. Those are the little types of things. The other thing you want to take in mind is if you see where that seatbelt bolt is. Okay, the seatbelt bolt is going to tell you exactly where that B post is, and we can center on the B post. If you take a look right here, you can see that gap where there is air that you can see through, and I can actually see the floor. If I put my ram just right there on the outside of the door, I'm going to force the door away, but I'm not going to get the strength of the B post pushing against this other B post to partially displace that vehicle. Here you go, Phil. Thank you, sir. All right, Kat, come on down. Yep, body. The whole you, yes. Bring everything with you. So, where at, RJ? Can you see me? Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our ram into position, right? Seatbelt anchor bolts are a really, really nice thing to have. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're putting your ram in, okay, is the window frames of this car have a memory and a strength in them, and they will bow out. They will not stretch themselves out with the car. They will stay in their original impacted position, which means, and we're going to show it to you as we do this, they're going to keep pushing outward. This is where people get into trouble because their helmets will get caught on here, their heads will get caught, and they'll literally push themselves way back. You also want to keep in mind where your trigger mechanism is. This ram is going to push in that direction. So even though Mike might be closer to begin with, as the ram extends, the trigger mechanism is going to get farther and farther away from him. So he may have to say, hey, Cat, go ahead and take the ram and get it stretched out. All of these things are dynamic. Everything moves. If you see something that's not going right, stop the evolution, reposition your tool, figure out what you have to fix, and then continue on with the evolution. All right, Cat, so here's what we're going to do. You can just go ahead and get rid of that light. Put her anywhere. Perfect. Then you're going to come over here and take my side, all right? You're going to turn that tool on and get it ready to go. And Mike and I are going to help you. All right, ready to go? So, okay, I'm probably going to hit this anchor point. All right, Cat, start to stretch her out. Go ahead. Slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow. Good, stay right there. Now, you can see that we have capture, okay? You can see that we've got a decent bite. You always want to make sure that your handle gets turned flat. If I leave my handle up in the air, I'm going to lose space to potentially put another ram on top of it, depending on how much stretch I have. So hopefully, Rick, you'll get this. You can see that just by a little bit, we've already started to bow these window frames out. Phil, I'm going to have you just stand right here with that camera and take a look at this. All right, Cat, you ready? Give me a little bit more stretch. Nice and easy. And slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Good. Stop right there. So, we're now maxed out on that ram. Hopefully, you've got all your equipment here and you've got your second ram ready to put on top of or below that ram, dependent on the size of the ram that you used initially and the space that you left. Remember, patient's position and condition, that's what we're shooting for. So if you take a look at our window frames, you can see how far they have bowed out, okay? Even here. Let's go ahead and take that out. Let's pop that ram out of there. Got it, Cat? Have you turn that on, and you guys can decide which way you're gonna bring it out. So take a look. Phil, you got that camera? Just point it right here. Take a look at how Cat is fighting to get in and out of that space.
Keep closing.
Got it?
Good.
This is where, if you're command, you need to make sure that somebody with a Sawzall or the cutter is getting those window frames out of the way as quickly and efficiently as possible. What we don't want to do is cut all the way through the beat post. We just want the window frames cut out. So however you want to do that, either with a Sawzall or with the cutter, okay. Got it. All right, Mike, you got that side? Got it? So keep in mind that all of these operations are going on carefully and safely, but simultaneously. You don't have to wait till the ram is all the way extended and your people are struggling to get up inside the window frames to go ahead and have those cut out. Be proactive in your extrication scene. If you see it's happening, if you're a command staff, or even if you're just a firefighter who's there with the tools, don't be afraid to cut the window frames out. We're not harming any of the structural stability of the vehicle itself, which is what we want to keep. We're just getting the garbage out of our way to make a little bit of more free space. Now, I know that a lot of people go, oh yeah, but that just takes a whole lot of time. Well, when you're ram working something like this, your cutter is sitting idle. Your Sawzall is sitting idle. So if you have the time, get the crap out of your way, and it makes everything much more efficient and effective. So RJ, I'm gonna have you come right here and take a look. We got the next ram ready, Mike? So, did we make a little bit of space? Yes, we did. Can we put our next ram into position? Probably so. Can we drop it down a little bit further? Also probably so. Each one's gonna be a little bit different. One of the other things that you may potentially be able to do, let's say I need to push this driver's side out and away from my driver, is take a 4x4 clamped to the roof line. Okay, you never wanna put your ram on your spreader arm itself. Keep in mind that spreader arms are designed to do this. So when you clamp a spreader down and you put a force against it, you run the risk of popping them just ever so slightly or catastrophically, depending on what you have. You always want to use those spreaders to clamp down on something, but not push against the spreader arms themselves. So let's grab the 4x4. We'll grab that spreader. RJ, come down and take a shot of this if you can. So I'm gonna have you put her right there. There you go, man. Got it. Come in a little bit more. Perfect. And stop right there. So listen to this sound, okay? Sometimes guys will put their hands on there and it's not gonna move at all because it's clamped in very, very nicely. You always wanna make sure that if you're going to use your spreader to clamp something down, you want to bury that thing, right? You want to go until the pitch changes of the tool that you have. Would you be so kind, Mike? Listen. Good. Not an enormous change, but enough. Now we know that we're really good and solid, and that's not going to go anywhere. Now we're going to take our telescopic ram. We're going to put one side up against here and one side down into our B-post to see how much we can push forward. Kat, I'm gonna have you come around to this side. We're gonna get it positioned up here, right? I have you turn it on, and you're gonna aim right to that post right down. I'm gonna have you flip that around for me, Mike. Okay? And roll your handle this way so she can work from the outside. Terrific, let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, you got this? Grab the whole thing, you'll need 2 hands. This is where additional support personnel come into play. I can't see here, but whoever's on the far side can say, Gary, lift up, move to your left, move to your right. What do you need me to do, Mike?
Up, and if Kat extends here.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead and extend it.
Yep.
Down a little bit, Gary. There.
Let me know when you got capture.
Extend, 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 extend. Stop.
Stop. So, you're going to see the shape of the car change. As we stretch this car out, as we unaccordion this, as stretch that hourglass out, as the car starts to move, one side will get stronger. So I may start like this, and I may get some movement here. That will stop, then the opposite side may move, then this may stop, then this opposite side. It's going to fluctuate back and forth. The key is to make the space in the right spot to get the driver's position opened up. So, RJ, I'm gonna have you come right about here, okay? And just see how much space you make. Kat, you ready? Okay, go ahead. Director Mike, if you would.
Nice and easy, nice and easy.
Good, stop right there. Okay, so from the back side, look how much space we've made, okay? This is all just plastic crap and door frame that we can pop out of the way. Now, if we had to, if we have a clear spot, we may be able to drop that ram down just a little bit. Have your person who's controlling the ram close up a little bit, drop the ram down just a little bit, and we may be able to get more push. This is all about creating space. Again, today, this is very, very slow. In the real world, this should happen very, very quickly, and communication is key. The person who's positioning the ram has to be able to talk to the person who's controlling the ram. Slow, precise commands. Go, 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 however you want to put it. Don't just say, let her fly, because if she's smart, the person on the far side will literally just put the coals to the entire thing, and that may not be what we want. We may just need a little bit. A lot of times, extrication is a game of inches. So if I need this much and I'm super, super fast, I may go past, but I may have a ram slip off or a tool pop out of position. Okay, we want to make sure that we're doing everything as precisely as possible in the best interest of the patient. So let's take a look. Mike, how are we looking? Think we can drop that down a little bit?
Absolutely.
Or is the seat going to be in the way?
I think we can get that point on the B-post.
All righty. All right, Kat, so when you're ready, I'm going to come down and give you a hand. We're going to drop that down. We're going to put it right on the B-post. Thank you, sir. All right, you ready? Go ahead and close her up. Mike, director.
Yep.
Keep closing and just let the ram slide downward. Okay, keep closing. Go, 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 go. Keep closing, 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 closing. Close, 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 close. Keep going. Okay? And now we're going to have you roll that handle backwards. Okay? Put both hands on the ram. You need her to close up a little bit more, Mike?
I'm good if she's good. I can't
Right.
see her side.
So take a look and see if she's got any type of bite point right here that she can dig into. A little bit this way. All right, so Mike's going to go down if at all possible. Close up a little bit more, Kat.
I got you.
Mike's got it. There you go. How much more, how much lower can you get?
Kat, can you get any layer? I'm as low as I can get because I'm on the
Okay,
seat.
good. So let's get a little stretch going. Go ahead. Yeah,
Nice
you
and
got
smooth.
it.
Nice and smooth.
Stop right
Good.
where you're at. So don't move. So here's what you want to watch. On our first initial push, we got the driver's side to move out nicely. Now, Kat's moved and she's already getting backed up because this side is now pushing out just a little bit. All right, Kat, go ahead. You guys can see as we're extending out, my driver's side really isn't moving at all, but my passenger side is now going because of that flexion in the steel itself, and this side is now stronger than that side. Okay? Another good use for the New York cook.
Watch your fingers.
Watch finger,
All
Kat.
right, Kat, you can just step back.
Nice and easy, Mike. And stop. Good. So you always want to be careful, okay? Rams move to a certain point, and I don't care whose ram you're using. Doesn't matter the manufacturer. When steel gets to a certain point where the ram doesn't have any more grip, you run the chance of that ram popping off. So you want to make sure you're moving, doing what's in the best interest of the patient itself. So now I'm going to have both of them take that ram down. You can decide which way you want to go, and we're going to see how much space we made.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Keep closing.
Keep going. All right, let's pull her on out of there.
I'll bring it my way, Kat.
So now let's take a look. RJ, come on in the back.
Whoop.
So we went from 18 inches. Can you come, let me see. Can you see that, RJ, or no? We went from 18 inches to 41 inches. That's a whole lot of space. Plus, RJ, I'm going to have you come around to this side. Now, take a look at our vehicle now. Is it still going to be difficult? Absolutely, it's still going to be difficult. It's an extrication. We didn't just pop somebody out of here. But that gives us a much greater chance of having more straight alignment in the long axis body line of the vehicle itself, so we can hopefully either bat wing this thing out, which I'm not a big fan of, or we can just kind of like take both doors and the B-post off at one time. You can see how now the car has retained its shape. It's not going back to where it was. We pushed it past its normal place, and because of the strength and the memory in that steel itself, it's now going to stay in that position. Had we cut the roof off first, anything that we gained by pushing out, we would lose most of pushing right back in. Remember that once steel is moving in one direction, it's going to stay moving in that direction. Anything I'm missing?
No, I think you're good.
Kat, anything I'm missing? Nope. I definitely want to say thank you to Kat because I know she was scared to death. This is her second time doing it, but she's doing an absolutely fantastic job. We will be doing part 2 of this series. That's probably going to be sometime in January or February. If you have any comments that you'd like to put, shoot them to us at info@genesisrescue.com. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. You can go to the website and all the rest of that good stuff. So, thank you for watching. Appreciate you watching this one. I'd like to thank Mike, and I'd like to thank Kat and everybody here at Genesis Rescue Systems. Hopefully you're getting some out of this. If you throw a comment in there afterwards, oh, by the way, this is going to be on YouTube very, very shortly after we're done here. If you want to throw some comments in there, if you want to get in touch with us directly, again, info@genesisrescue.com. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.